Hello and welcome. My name is Zaffar Iqbal and you're watching the Mojo Story. Today on May 3 marks the first anniversary of the violence that erupted in Manipur between Meitei and Kuki communities. The violence that has not only claimed numerous lives but also resulted in displacement of populations in different areas, and it's caused widespread destruction and property. Today, we'll try and analyze what's happened in the past 1 year and what's the way forward. We're joined by an eminent panel from Manipur. Let's introduce our guests. We're joined by Priyobarta Sharma, who joins us from Manipur. Welcome to the show, sir. We're also joined by W. Lalam Hangchi. Welcome to the show, sir. And we're also joined by Major Dr. Ali Shah. Welcome to the show, Shah Saab. Let me start with you, Priyobarta, if I may. What has been the situation so far? We know that violence that started last year escalated for a few months, and then things seem to have become more stable. But lately, we're seeing again a spurt of violence. What is the situation on the ground?
First of all, thank you so much, Zaffar Bhai, for having me on your show. And hello to my fellow panelists. Well, let's look at this way. Of course, today was the day when it all started. And by now, everybody following very closely, especially from mainstream media in our country, following Manipur violence very closely. Everyone knows where it all started from, how did it begin. So let's not get back there. What we need to do as civilized citizens is to look forward. You're absolutely right, Zaffar Bhai. It started, there was a break. There was even rumor that the pause is because of the Lok Sabha election. Now, let me remind our viewers, or your viewers, in fact, that just before the election, there was violence as well. It's not that it completely halted. Just before the election, there was violence. Once the votes were casted, then the violence started picking up again. As we speak today, different communities across the state are observing the day in their own, in various forms. Obviously, what we want to do is to look forward and say what's the situation, because no solutions were ever brought by war. We should end this war immediately, bring the concerned parties to the table. The concerned authority needs to bring concerned parties on table and resolve it peacefully. That's what I would advocate, and I think that's what every right citizen will think so. Let me keep it that way in the first round.
Right. And you talked about violence. We saw that there was a bit of a violence on the polling day, but that was polling related violence.
Absolutely
right. That was
yes.
not violence between the conflict that's ongoing in Manipur. But
you're bang on.
Yes. W. Lalam Hangching, what is your view about the situation in Manipur? I remember last time we were doing these discussions, we were saying that members from both the communities can come and sit on the table and try and resolve this issue. Has any headway been made in that regard, or we're still a long way away and a fresh beginning has to be made somewhere?
We are not only a long way from sitting across the table, but we are actually, that situation is not possible right now, because one community is baying for annihilation, extermination of the other community every day. The slogans are there, kill them, they are calling them all kinds of names. In such a situation, there's no question of talking of what is there to talk across the border, across the table. I think the intervention has to come from the central government and impose a solution.
And obviously, the solution, according to you, is that a separate administrative setup for the Kuki. But don't you think that goes against the very concept of Manipur, where different communities can come together? That is at least what people belonging to Meitei community are saying. But let me go across to Major Shah. Welcome to the show. I introduced you earlier also, but what I notice is that you're wearing a tie of Assam rifle. So there can be nobody better to explain the situation, what's going on in Manipur, then you know the place like the back of your hand.
Dharbhai, thank you very much for firstly for recognizing the Assam Rifles tribe, which is very, very sacred to me. In fact, I've had a beautiful tenure with the Assam Rifles. And I would thank you even more for actually getting my Maite brother Preo and my Cookie brother U together and me as a neutral party to talk over here, because what we need to do is get, I know it's very difficult, the wounds are very deep, and we need to get them to communicate and sit across the table. Though I say my who said that it will be difficult to because the wounds are too deep. But let me tell all our viewers that okay, if certain hatred was at all spread, it didn't come from one particular community. It came from some people who do not represent a community. If someone said some hateful, hurting words, it was very, very bad for me as well. Some hatred was spoken by some people earlier, but let me tell you, they do not represent a community. So it will be incorrect to say that either the Maite community or the Kuki tribe is either ways bad or responsible. Both are wonderful people, yeah. You can see both our friends over here. They are wonderful people over here. People, the most, I'll tell you, you were talking about the Assam Rifles. I'll tell you, I was ADC to the corps commander, to the spare corps. And my experience in not just in Manipur, in the entire Northeast belt is one the best people with golden heart, most principled, cultured people, men of their word, who stand by what they say, are from the Northeast part of India. Now, when things go wrong there, because one more thing I've seen, the people of the Northeast part of India are not scared. They are fearless. They're very good fighters. In the forces also I've seen, they are the best of friends if you make friends with them, and they can be the worst of enemies. अगर उनको छेड़ो आप तो. So when a violence breaks out, it is definitely बहुत ही घातक है. It's going to be gruesome. But if you are friend with them, trust me, you will not find a friend like them. Be it from the Kuki tribe, be it from the Maiti community. So we need to get them somehow to talk, because dialogue is the only way forward. Yeah. And jitna more time we take, trust me, unfortunately, there are so many very, very balanced Maites, very balanced, sensible cookies, very sensible Nagas, and thankfully Nagas have stayed out of it, and I hope it remains that way. We need to get the sensible people together so that those people who talk hate, who propagate hate or violence, do not represent their community. I'm saying once more, I'm saying when violence has happened, let's not take it as cookies attack the Maitis or Maitis attack cookie or so and so. No, or so and so attack the army or so and so attack the security. Let's not take it that way. Being in the army, I will just quickly conclude. I had served in Jammu Kashmir, where there was Armed Forces Special Power Act, and I had served in the northeast part of India as well. Now, when we were attacked by militants in Jammu Kashmir, by terrorists in Jammu Kashmir, that doesn't mean that I begin to say that, oh, I was attacked by a certain community or a certain village. No, these were militants who had attacked us, right? Now, in the northeast part of India, if there was an underground faction which operated against us, I cannot say that's the community, that because they belong to this community, that community. So one cannot say, I think Maitis are wonderful people, I think Cookies are wonderful people as well, and we need to, at any cost, get them to talk. Then you decide. That's a different thing. But the basic thing is the barriers and let them sit across and talk. And my compliments to Mojo Story. You already won the award for the Manipur analysis. Barkha Dutt won that, and my compliments to Mojo Story for doing great work on ground, not just online, on ground, and getting my brothers from Manipur here together. Thank you very much, sir.
Right. Priyabrata, the point that we come across at the end of all these discussions is this sense of mistrust. Why isn't this mistrust going? There is a calm, but it looks like an uneasy calm.
Right.
Why is this outreach not happening from both the sides? After all, it's the people who are living there, who have been living since generations, and they'll be living on for years and decades and centuries. What's the
Exactly.
problem? What exactly is the problem? Why isn't that happening? They lived together in the past.
Exactly, Zafar. I'll come to that. Now, first of all, picking from where Ali Bhai left, when he says you'll find the best of friends or the worst of enemies in the Northeast, he actually means it. See, having been in the field of media, especially electronic media, I have over the past 1 year spoken to many experts, be it in Manipur or outside Manipur. So, coming back to your question, Zafar Bhai, see, it's not that it's not possible. Like even
Yeah,
Mr. Hangshing mentioned, that what's there to talk when people are not able to sit across, and Mr. Hangshing rightfully brings in the central government to intervene. That's what every society, not just the Kukis or Maitis, for over. Let me just quote an example. For over a decade, it's been more than a decade. The Kuki Naga clash took place, right? And
yeah,
until and even now, I shouldn't really be saying this. There are conflict. There's still conflict. It's just that it doesn't come out in the open. And now Nagas, like Alibai said, that he thanks the Naga community for being neutral. Let me tell you, they're not just only being neutral, but they're also trying their best to bring both Meitei and Kukis together, to get on a table. So when Mr. Hangshing requests the central government to intervene and bring these two parties together, that's exactly what the majority of the population in Manipur is asking for, be it the Naga tribe or the Kuki or even Meitei. Just get them on the table, because, like I mentioned in my opening statement, no war can bring a solution. We really need to
right.
talk through this. We need to sort it out peacefully, and then of course it's going to take time. Like Alibai said, the wounds will not heal easily. I mean, for God's sake, more than 70,000 people are displaced, Zafar Bhai. They're still living in relief camps. People have died of natural diseases in relief camps. There have been childbirths at relief camps, right? And we are still covering this for over a year. The entire media fraternity in Manipur is deeply involved in covering this story as well. So today marks the 1 year anniversary, but it's not really good. It's not an anniversary to actually celebrate. It's to look back
Yeah.
and see how we can go forward. So again, from my side as well, and all the experts I've spoken with, is that, anyways, let's wait for the elections to get over, Zafabai, because there are rumors. Let's treat this as a rumor as of now. Come June or July, there seems to be some kind of solution, in place. So we'll just have to wait for it.
So you mean the government has a plan, and that plan may well be exexecuted after a few months after
Yes,
the
yes,
elections
a
get
peaceful
over?
solution. Yeah, a peaceful
A
solution.
peaceful solution. But in the interim, Mr. Hangshing, what has been the government's response? Have they been at least able to try and make efforts to bring people together, at least talk to each other? The long term solution may take time. Whatever they must be thinking about, that will be executed later, if at all there is one. But do you think that government has been more responsive or less responsive to the emerging situation?
When you say government, you mean the Manipur government?
Yes, and the center up also.
If you say the Manipur government, they are party to this conflict. In fact, it is the Manipur government that has set up this conflict under the government of Biren Singh. There was no problem before he came into the chair of the CM. They were Kugis and Meiteis have been living together for hundreds and hundreds of years. There are stories where they worked together, they fought together. Suddenly, when this man comes to the seat, he starts planting all these misinformation, vilifying the cookies as all kinds of names he throws without any verification, without any substantiation. And I know most of the people in Imphal are all mostly uninformed, uneducated people. They believe the CM. He has created an enemy who was not an enemy in the first place. And I see this 3rd of May as actually a culmination of many, many years of Meitei sub-nationalism to find their own identity since the 1970s. And then that identity took the form of their going back to their roots to Sanamahi, and that led to anti-Hinduism and led to anti-Hindi. There were Hindi riots. I mean, till now, there are no Hindi signboards anywhere in Imphal. You can see Hindi movies, anti-Bollywood also. Even Mary Com's movie was banned in Manipur. People used to ask me, why is Mary Com movie banned in Manipur? She's from Manipur. I said, the movie is not banned. The language, the Bollywood movies are banned. You know, this was the foundation of the Métis subnationalism, which was there in the 1970s. It was simmering. It took the form of secessionism. It still is secessionist in many aspects today. And as you earlier said, the idea of Manipur. When you talk of the idea of Manipur in a constitutional setup like India, what it is, the idea of any kingdom or anything is anti-constitutional. You see, if you talk of Manipur as a kingdom, you're talking about an identity which was before the formation of the constitution, which means it repudiates the constitution itself. And it's
Right.
not a sacrosanct identity in the constitution that it cannot be changed or it cannot be enlarged or whatever under the article 3 of the constitution.
So you obviously it seems that the state government, according to you, is a part of the problem, not as a part of the solution. What about the central government?
The central government, in the beginning, we were hopeful that they were going to come with a solution, because this is a unique situation where there has been a civil war and there has been actual partition of the demographic content of the state in clear geographical terms. It was literally like India-Pakistan partition. Now, the Métis cannot go to the hills, the Kukis cannot come to the valley, they will be lynched, they will be raped, they will be dismembered. You've seen the pictures, how horrifying it is. Now, to go back to say that we can sit on the table and talk like gentlemen and shake hands like schoolboys and say now go become friends again, I don't think that is a possibility right now. It'll take a few generations. Even India, Pakistan, till today, the hatred rankers. It's 3 generations have passed. Now, this is not something you can sit over the table and say, shake hands now, and you now become friends. We're not school kids anymore. So this has gone very deep, and there has to be a solution to this so that life can go on for every individual, for every community. And you see Europe was at war for centuries. Today there is peace. There are different countries. You don't even know which country you are in when you travel in Europe.
Yeah. So these
Zafar bhai,
are
Zafar bhai,
majorly,
just 2 lines,
yeah,
just
yeah,
2 lines
yeah,
before you go to Ali
yeah,
bhai.
yeah,
See, my sincere request is, see, I mean, today there are what there's Russia-Ukraine war. Has war ever brought a solution? Now, Mr. Hangsheng is saying, there's no possibility to sit on a table and talk. He talks about, the Sanamahism and all that. I mean, say, let's leave all that behind, because at the current juncture, our focus should be resolving the issue. See, I've spoken with many intellectuals. Mr. Hangsheng himself is a very respected, well-respected gentleman. Okay. Likewise, I have many other, as being part of the media fraternity, we frequently had, people from Mr. Hangsheng's community as well, very, very statesmen kind of people, right? So, rather than speaking negatively, like being pessimist, I suggest we all should today be at least be optimistic and focus on resolving the issue peacefully and not talk negative, at least on your show, because your show is going to be watched by thousands of people. So what is Mr. Hangsheng passing through to the viewers? So let's spread. See, my only my
yes,
only my only request is spread.
yes.
Let's spread peace.
Majorly, I wanted to ask you that the analogy of India-Pakistan, do you think too far-fetched? Is it a fair analogy to talk about India-Pakistan when we say that when Mr. Hansing says that people from the hills cannot come to the valleys and people from the valley can't go to the hills? There is so much of acrimony on the ground.
In
See,
fact,
Zafar bhai,
that's what I'm saying. It's not about being negative. It's negative. It is about acknowledging the facts on ground. It is a fact
Right,
on ground. And I've given you
right,
examples of India, Pakistan, and so many
yeah.
examples. You can't just sit on the table and say, now shake hands and forget about it. The idea, as you said, is to go ahead. Now, to go ahead from this point and to go back to status quo ante is not possible. The only way is forward. What is the way forward? Is to work towards living together and bring peace. When
Right.
the only way to live together, I've always given the example of the acrimonious, the violent separation of husband and wife. If you
Yeah.
keep them together in the same roof, there will be violence, there will be bad family, the kids will suffer. The best way is to separate them. And after separation, they work towards building up their whatever is left of their family, the kids, bringing up school, education. These things can be worked out. Now I'm
Right.
talking about looking ahead. It is not being negative. It is looking ahead
Right.
positively for the
Yeah. Yeah.
future.
We
In the
got the point.
circumstances, you can't shut your eyes to the
Yes.
circumstances and say it doesn't exist.
Yes. You made your point. Majorly, the question that I was asking you. You heard the views. What? How do you see the situation developing here on?
Right. See, firstly, I totally understand and respect the sentiments of both my brothers over here. I totally 100% get it, where they're coming from, what they mean, and why they're saying what they're saying. I totally get it. And with Mr. Hansing, I will say, yes, we're not schoolboys that you come here, sit on the table, shake hands, hug each other, say sorry, be friends, and go back home. No, I understand it's very complex. The wounds are too deep. It's gone too far. Yes, I admit on that. But then tell me one thing, sir. Now, as time passes by, time is just passing us by. We will not get back this time. Already a year has passed. What is the solution? Well, the government did come out with a panel of 51 members who are part of the peace committee. But the moment, I probably, I'm not bragging, but I am not boasting about it, but I was probably one of the first few ones instantly when the list was released, who was purview to that list. And the moment I saw that list, the moment I saw that, at that very instant, my gut feeling told me it will not work out. I didn't say it. I didn't say it. And rightly
But
so.
why? Why did
I'll
you
tell you
feel
why.
that it didn't it won't work out?
Yes, I will tell you why. Firstly, it had a list. If I correct me if I'm not mistaken, I remember a figure of about 25 Maitis in that list, about 10 Nagas or cookies, or about 10 or 11 cookies or Nagas, and there were politicians also in that list. Now, the very fact is, if at all you genuinely want to set up a peace committee, it should be of neutral people. Firstly,
Right.
in Maithil language or in the Manipur language, I would call it Mayank. Like
Yeah.
Zaffar by you and I would be Mayank. So a Mayank would
Yeah.
be neither a Maite nor a Cookie. So as a prayer I earlier said that the Nagas, he appreciated the Nagas. They're not just playing a neutral part. They're trying to get both the communities together to be. It's not easy. It's not simple. But yet
Yep.
people are
Yeah.
making their efforts in their own way. Why it was not successful, I will tell you. You saw politician's name also in that. Why get politicians involved in it? We all know, I mean, with all respect
Yeah.
to them, with all respect to their profession, but get neutral agencies from the forces. Get somebody, they have been former chief secretaries, they have been former GOCs, they've been former governors, they have been former people who understand that land, who know people, who know Maites also, who knows Cookies also, who knows Nagas also, who knows the geography, demography, topography, history, the culture of that place. Get those people, if at all, that is. Now, secondly, the fact is, see, as time passes by, the wounds are only getting deeper. There's a cut in my hand. If I don't put Dettol, if I don't address it, then and there, it'll only get worse. There'll be infection, there'll be whatnot, and I don't know. There could be a risk of me actually amputating my hand. Ultimately, there could be gangrene, there could be anything else. Similarly, when there is a small cut, ideally speaking, if I go back in the past 1 year, army should have been called instantly. That's my take, being an army person.
Yeah.
It wasn't called. Well, there were some mistakes, there were some errors. Well, it wasn't. It didn't happen. It didn't happen, yes, but now whatever errors took place in the past, we can correct it now. Because I feel when we wake up in the morning, I'm giving this analogy, we wake up, we don't feel like waking up, but we say, if not now, then never. And then we jump out of bed. I'm giving that analogy right now. Because if we don't correct the problem, which has happened in a beautiful state, there was Femna Miss India, there was a polo tournament, it was gaining international recognition, there was
Absolutely.
Mirabai Chanu winning and the Olympics. We had Maricom. We had the film. We had so many things from Manipur coming out, from all tribes, all communities, all villages, everyone. And Maitis and Cookies have lived together for so many years. They never had a problem. They worked together. They as Mr. Hansing said, they fought shoulder to shoulder together. They were there for each other. They were there to help each other out. This problem had
Right.
not happened. Now, unfortunately, 1 year, 3rd May, it's gone a bit too far. And if we don't correct it now, if we don't get in neutral agencies, I can name a few people. Mr. Amrik Singh Pawa, he is a Manipuri Sikh. He has been interviewed by Mojo. There is Brigadier Neil John, who I interviewed this morning on my channel. He was the deputy GOC, the officiating GOC on 3rd of May last year when the violence broke out. There is Lieutenant General Shokin Chauhan. There is Jaideep Saikia, who specializes in Northeast affairs. There is Lieutenant General Shokin Chauhan. There is Lieutenant Sangwan. There is Lieutenant General Z.U. Shah, who has been interviewed by your channel. There are so many people who have served in the northeast part of India who know that place back of the hands. They should the government, in fact, should take consultancy from them as well. But I don't know. I don't understand why, Mr. Why
Why?
there.
Yeah, I want to ask that, Priyo, why is it so difficult to find these people? If Major Ali Shah can name them, he just remembers and he just says that these are the people. Why is it so difficult to find those people who are respected by people from all the communities in the state? And given the difficult situation that the state is in and these people are in, what is the way forward? Is there any way
Right.
forward at all? Can the members
Absolutely.
of two communities live under one roof in a single state?
Right, absolutely. Zafar bhai, to answer your question as to why, let me put it this way: where there's a will, there's a way. Ali bhai, Ali bhai rightly said there are well-known people. He just named a couple. I mean, why aren't we doing that? So that's the question. That's the question that we've been asking for all these days, right? All these months now. It's,
Yeah,
it's a year. So now, keeping that aside, of course, when the media fraternity is always questioning the authority, we've
yeah,
always been told that we've done the best. In fact, if you remember, Zafar bhai, Amit
yeah,
Shah, the Home Minister, when he first visited during the conflict, he said he would return. I mean, he came, he met people from across communities. He said he would return in a couple of weeks. That never happened, and he came back recently only to campaign for election. Right. So, what did he say when he came? Let me just refresh the memory of your viewers. When he came campaigning for his party's candidate, he says, "In no way the government, this current government, both in central and state, is actually a BJP-led government. In no way we will allow Manipur to disintegrate." That's the very bold statement he
yes,
made. First,
yes,
first
yes.
statement. Second, what
Yeah,
did he say? Second, what did he say? He says, uh, you know, because of this government, only because of this government, the violence hasn't actually gone out of control. So what does he mean by out of control? More than 60, 70 people displaced, more than 200 people dead officially. Isn't this out of control? Ali Bhai, I'm sure you would agree with me. So my sincere request, like you rightly mentioned, the couple of names Ali Bhai suggested, not just these, there are various famous people who can actually resolve the issue. The authority should try and approach these people, and whenever the media fraternity questions the authority, they always say that we're doing our best, and peace will be brought soon. That's the response, and we hope peace comes in, and which is why I keep saying, Mr. Hangsheng, let's not, I didn't really mean negative that kind of way. Let's at least, when we are on special broadcast like this on your famous channel, the viewers will think that nothing positive is happening. A lot of positive things are also happening, Zafar bhai, in Manipur. If you see, amidst this crisis, there are lots of positive things happening. Okay, people are on ground level, trying to reach out to people, be it from the Naga community, like I mentioned earlier. People across the community, everybody. End of the day, who's suffering? End of the day, people who've lost their lives, people who stay in relief camps. We are in a comfort zone, sitting in our rooms and attending this show. But think about those people at relief camps, right? They've bathed this chill winter. I'm sure it's very, you know how chill it is in Manipur, just like in Delhi. They've bathed all those, in unbearable weather, right? So let's
yeah,
let's not give them another winter in the relief shelters. Let's work towards helping them return to their homes, right? So my suggestion
right.
or my request to people like Mr. Hangsheng is to spread positivity. Okay, when we say get on a table, it's not just about shaking hands. It doesn't end there. Okay, we've requested the authorities to somehow get people on the table and peacefully bring a solution. That's how I would end it, Zafar bhai.
Mr. Hansing, last word to you. You mentioned about Home Minister. Made those remarks. The Prime Minister has not visited the state since violence broke out. What is the way forward?
In the month of May and June, the Home Minister had come to Manipur. He even visited my area, the Kamupi, and he
Yeah,
had promised them that he will be back in 15 days with a political solution. which got delayed by another 30 days because of some Karnataka elections or something. Then after the month of June, he stated this in Parliament. Now, at that time, we thought maybe he's just saying it as a political point to keep tempers down, but the things will still move on. In fact, the talks had been going on, and there was a proposal from their side. They asked us to submit, what do you want? What kind of form of administration you want? We said, you give us anything you want. We just want a separation, because this separation is not something which has just come up on the table today. It has been building up, as I was trying to say from the beginning, since the 1970s. The identity, the sub-nationalism had been built up, but it was not directed against the Kukis. It was a search for an identity for the Métis. We appreciated it. You do it. But then when this minister came, the CM came, he needed not only the sub-nationalistic ideas, but to focus its movement, you need an enemy. Like you see the history of the world, they always need an enemy. The Jews were created in Germany. Then you have similar things in other places. Here you needed an enemy, and you created an enemy who was never your enemy. Now, and the things have gone to an extent that, not only you keep comparing with the Naga conflict and here and this conflict. The difference, I'll say, is in the Naga Kuki conflict, the state government was not party to it. It was purely ethnic, tribal, old age tribal rancor coming up to the fore and being used by some unscrupulous leaders to unify a certain group. That kind of thing I would see it as an analysis. But this one is a direct participation of the Manipur state government in this ethnic clash. This is undeniable. Right. You can say anything you want, and this is the problem with this. And when you have a government itself using the government machinery, cannons, and vehicles, armored corps, and even the police itself taking part against an ethnic minority, I don't think it is something. I mean, unless the whole thing gets overhauled, the whole administration setup has to be overhauled into something else. Then maybe we can sit and talk about what will that administration be. Now, in the present setup, and it is a historical build-up. It is not something which just blew up out of something. It is, and I understand that the previous governments before this government came, I would like to believe that they understood the dangers of stepping into such areas, which this CM has stupidly jumped into it. Now he's in this shit. Let him get out of it. It is his problem now.
Right.
Zaffar, one last line before you go to Ali Bhai. One last line, please.
Yeah,
see, Mr. Hang Sing, with all due respect, unparliamentary words on a national show, uncalled for, please. And secondly, Mr. Hang Sing keeps blaming the government, keeps blaming the police for crackdown. Let me just put it this way. The state police or the authorities, the crackdown didn't happen just on one community. If you go back, the crackdown happened here right in the heart of Imphal. Right, so there were many Métis students who were brutally injured. So let me just again, I'm just reiterating. Let's focus on peace and not go back and talk all this and blaming the government. See, if you say it that way, let me tell you very clearly, both the state and central government, no lesser than the Home Minister, has come out openly on the floor of the House in the Parliament that this conflict, there are external forces involved. So I didn't want to say this, but I'm saying it, right? So let's end it here, okay? Because crackdown happened across communities. So let's focus on peace. My last line.
Right.
There are no external forces. There are no external forces. That is a lie.
I'm not saying that.
I'm not saying that. The fact is that the state has gone through a worst phase. In the last 1 year, people have suffered. So many people have lost their lives. So many people have been displaced. So many houses have been gutted. And it's a tragedy that has no proportion. People are suffering. All that one can hope and pray is that some sort of a peaceful resolution is found so that people can live together in peace in the same state, under the same roof, amicably. And that solution, which sort of addresses the concerns of all the people, all the communities in that state. We leave it with that hope. Thanks to all our panelists for joining us today. And thanks so much, to all our audiences for watching the Mojo Story.
Thank you, Zaffar.
Thank you.
Thank you.
It's great to see you here. Thank you for watching our work. If you haven't subscribed yet, don't forget to click the bell icon and subscribe to Mojo Story and support independent, robust journalism.